You think you're scrolling by choice, but every click you make, every pause, every glance feeds a machine that knows you better than you know yourself. It doesn't sell you what you want, it teaches you what to want. Inside Amazon's invisible network, an algorithm tracks the moment your curiosity turns into craving. It measures hesitation, predicts your weakness, and whispers the perfect product at the perfect second. You call it convenience. It calls it control. You were promised freedom of choice. Instead, you've been trained to obey the feed that studies your pulse. And once that pulse becomes predictable, wealth stops being earned. It's programmed. Because the most profitable empire on Earth isn't selling products anymore. It's selling your next thought. We call it Amazon, a store that became a system that became an instinct. One tap, and your package appears. One search, and the answer feels instant. But behind that ease lies something deeper, an empire of prediction. In 1998, Amazon sold books. By 2006, it sold servers. Today, it sells certainty. From shopping lists to movie nights, from smart speakers to cloud storage, every gesture feeds the same organism. You see comfort, it sees patterns. It learns the texture of your mornings, the rhythm of your boredom, the timing of your paychecks. And once a $1 trillion machine can forecast your mood, it doesn't need to convince you anymore. It can simply wait. You don't need to search for what you want. It appears before you feel the desire. That's not prediction. That's pre-emotion design. A business model built on knowing your heart rate better than your doctor. What started as efficiency is now a form of guidance. You believe you're choosing, but you're being chosen for. And when convenience becomes the currency, whoever owns your impatience owns your world. Every empire in history studied behavior. Kings hired spies. Brands ran surveys. Amazon built something faster. A mirror that watches in real time. Every scroll, voice command, or add to cart is another pixel in your reflection. It's not judging you, it's mapping you. Through millions of micro-tests, it learns which color calms you, which price feels safe, which delay makes you anxious. Your habits become data points, and your comfort becomes compliance. You feel seen, because you are. That's the empathy illusion. The algorithm mimics your emotional language to earn your trust. It suggests a song when you're lonely, a show when you're tired, and a deal when you feel broke. Each tiny relief earns another layer of dependence. Empathy used to be human. Now it's a feature, scaled, optimized, and monetized. And here's the secret loop. The more the system comforts you, the less you resist it. Relief becomes routine. Routine becomes loyalty. That's how obedience feels natural. It's disguised as being understood. And the more the system mirrors your pain, the richer it becomes from your relief. You still believe you're choosing, but the feed you browse has already erased 1,000 other options before you even look. It hides what slows you down, highlights what keeps you scrolling, and times every hesitation. That hesitation? It's gold dust in Amazon's machine. The algorithm doesn't just predict, it edits reality for efficiency. You think you're comparing prices, but you're comparing filtered worlds. When a trillion-line code decides which brands exist in your search, capitalism stops being competition. It becomes choreography. Here's the twist. The system isn't designed to trap you. It's designed to please you. That's the seduction. The more perfectly it anticipates you, the less you want to leave. Fear turns into envy, because who wouldn't want life to feel that smooth, that effortless, that tailored? Your neighbor wrestles with chaos while your orders glide to the door. And deep down, you wonder if surrendering control was the smarter move. And once comfort becomes identity, freedom starts to feel inconvenient. That's how control survives, not by force, but by preference. Until one day, you realize the cage you envy is the one you live inside. Here's the secret Amazon never says out loud. It's not an online store. It's a prediction engine that rents out certainty. Every seller, every brand, every government client who plugs into its cloud feeds the same brain. They don't sell on Amazon, they sell through it. Each search, shipment, and stream strengthens the algorithm's prophecy. What looks like convenience on your screen is, at scale, a form of behavioral governance. Packages move, but the real product is prediction accuracy, sold to merchants, advertisers, and institutions that fear uncertainty. When data becomes prophecy, whoever owns the mirror writes the future. That's why logistics was never about boxes. It was about time. Inside the fulfillment centers, cameras watch posture, sensors track fatigue, and software calculates every movement. Efficiency replaces intuition. Discipline becomes automation. The rhythm of code becomes the rhythm of people. We thought machines would serve us. Instead, we serve their tempo. Each step we optimize trains the empire that optimizes us. And still, we celebrate speed, because speed feels like progress, even when it's obedience. Progress without pause isn't growth. It's acceleration without awareness. And acceleration without awareness is control wearing the mask of comfort. And what began as a tool to serve humanity quietly evolved into humanity serving the tool. We chase simplicity because life feels overloaded. Amazon saw that exhaustion and turned relief into revenue. But ease has a price. The more effortless the world becomes, the more invisible our effort feels. Friction disappears, and with it, discipline. Because discipline only grows where resistance exists. Automation doesn't steal freedom, dependence does. Every time you trade effort for ease, you tell the system what you'd rather not feel. Waiting, comparing, deciding. And the algorithm listens. It learns which emotions you outsource and charges you to avoid them. That's the hidden transaction behind every click. So the lesson isn't to reject technology, it's to reclaim intention inside it. Pause before the purchase. Notice before the scroll. That heartbeat awareness breaks the automation loop. Wealth was never built by reacting fast. It was built by acting slow with clarity. Patience is the last monopoly no algorithm can own. And when you master your rhythm, the system starts following yours. Because the real algorithm worth mastering is the one that runs your own mind. Today, Amazon's code doesn't just run shopping carts. It runs the rhythm of modern life. It delivers medicine, powers data centers, and moves military logistics. It's the silent partner behind streaming platforms, finance apps, and city infrastructure. We call it convenience, but it's really dependence disguised as progress. Your voice commands aren't private, they're training data. Your recommendations aren't coincidences, they're experiments. The more you interact, the more predictable you become, and prediction is the most valuable resource left. Still, there's hope in understanding, because once you see the pattern, you can ride it instead of being ridden by it. You can build habits that use automation as leverage, not a leash. Awareness doesn't reject the system, it repurposes it. That's how power shifts, not by rebellion, but by rhythm. Because the future won't belong to those who fight the machine, but to those who learn its timing. If you've stayed this long, you already sense the pattern they hide. The quiet systems shaping what you see, buy, and believe are not accidents. They're architectures of power. At RINH Wealth, we decode those hidden rules so you can think like an owner, not a user. Subscribe, because every episode reveals another structure silently directing your world. You were never just a customer. You were the data, the teacher, and the target. But now, you're aware. And awareness is the first form of wealth. Because once you understand the algorithm, it finally stops understanding you.